Political parties are very important in the rise of democracies, in the formation of constitutional designs, in electoral politics, and in the making and working of governments. This chapter helps us to know that political parties work as a vehicle of federal sharing of political power and as negotiators of social divisions. In this chapter, you will learn about the nature and workings of political parties in our country. Here you will get to know the national and regional political parties. We will also evaluate what is wrong with political parties and what can be done about it. Why do we need political parties? Political parties are one of the most visible institutions in a democracy. For ordinary citizens, democracy is equal to political parties. Less educated citizens may not know anything about our constitution or about the nature of our government, but they would know something about our political parties. A political party is a group of people who come together to contest elections and hold power in the government. They try to persuade people why their policies are better than others. They seek to implement these policies by winning popular support through elections. All the parties agree on some policies and programs for the society with a view to promote the collective good. Parties reflect fundamental political divisions in a society. Thus, a party is known by which party it stands for, which policies it supports, and whose interest it upholds. A political party has three components. They are the leaders, the active members, and the followers. Let us see the functions of political parties. First of all, contesting elections. Political parties contest elections. Elections are fought mainly among the candidates put up by political parties. In some countries such as the USA, members and supporters of a party choose its candidates. In other countries like India, top party leaders choose candidates for contesting elections. Secondly, policies making. Political parties put forward different policies and programs so that the voters can choose from them. We may have different opinions and views on what policies are suitable for the society. A party reduces a vast multitude of opinions into a few basic positions which it supports. The policies and programs of the ruling party are expected to be followed by the government. Another function is making law. Formally, laws are debated and passed in the legislature, but since most of the members belong to a party, they go by the direction of the party leadership, irrespective of their personal opinions. Thus, political parties play a decisive role in making laws for the country. Next function is formation of government. The big policy decisions are taken by political executive that comes from the political parties. Parties recruit leaders, train them, and then make them ministers to run the government in the way they want. So political parties form and run governments. The executive body is formed by people from the ruling party. Playing opposition. Those parties that lose in the elections play the role of opposition to the parties in power, or a party which does not get majority or come under the majority coalition needs to play the role of opposition. Opposition parties mobilize opposition to the government. It puts forward its own views in parliament and criticizes the government for its failures. By doing this, it keeps a check on the ruling party. Shaping public opinion. Political parties shape public opinion. They do so by raising and highlighting issues in the legislature and in the media. Providing access to government machinery. For an ordinary citizen, it is easy to approach a local party leader than a government officer. That is why they feel close to parties even when they do not fully trust them. Thus, political parties provide people access to government machinery and welfare schemes implemented by the governments. So, contesting elections, policies making, making law, formation of government, playing opposition, shaping public opinion, and providing access to government machinery are the major functions of political parties. What is the necessity of political parties, or why modern democracies cannot exist without political parties? If there are no political parties, every candidate in the elections will be independent. So no one will be able to make any promises to the people about any major policy changes. The rise of political parties is directly linked to the emergence of representative democracies. As we have seen, large societies need representative democracy. As societies become large and complex, they also needed some agency to gather different views on various issues and to the government. They needed some ways to bring various representatives together so that a responsible government could be formed. So, political parties help in representing different views on various issues to the government. They bring various representatives together so that a responsible government could be formed. They work as a mechanism to support or restrain the government, make policies, justify or oppose them. Political parties fulfill the needs that every representative government has. In a democracy, any group of citizens is free to form a political party. More than 750 parties are registered with the Election Commission of India, but not all these parties are serious contestants in the elections. So the question there is, how many major or effective parties are good for democracy? In some countries, only one party is allowed to control and run the government. These are called one-party system. For example, China. But this system is not considered as a good option for democracy. Any democratic system must allow at least two parties to compete in elections and provide a fair chance for the competing parties to come to power. In some countries, power usually changes between the two main parties. Such a party system is called a two-party system. Example, the United States of America and the United Kingdom. If several parties compete for power and more than two parties have a reasonable chance of coming to power either on their own strength or in alliance with others, it is called a multi-party system. For example, India. In this system, the government is formed by various parties coming together in a coalition. When several parties in a multi-party system join hands for the purpose of contesting elections and winning power, it is called an alliance or a front. For example, in India, there were three major alliances in 2004 parliamentary elections. The National Democratic Alliance or NDA, the United Progressive Alliance UPA, and the Left Front. This system on one hand leads to political instability, but at the same time allows for a variety of interests and opinions to enjoy political representation. It is not easy to choose which of these systems is better. The multi-party system often appears very messy and leads to political instability. At the same time, this system allows a variety of interests and opinions to enjoy political representation. India has evolved a multi-party system. It is because the social and geographical diversity in such a large country is not easily absorbed by two or even three parties. Anyhow, no system is ideal for all countries and all situations. National parties. Every party in the country has to register with the Election Commission. While the Commission treats all parties equally, it offers some special facilities to large and established parties. These parties are given a unique symbol. Only the official candidates of that party can use that election symbol. The Election Commission has laid down detailed criteria of the proportion of votes and seats that a party must get in order to be a recognized party. A political party that secures at least 6% of the total votes in an election to the Legislative Assembly of a state and wins at least 2 seats is recognized as a state party, whereas a party that secures at least 6% of the total votes in Lok Sabha elections or assembly elections in 4 states and wins at least 4 seats in the Lok Sabha is recognized as a national party. Major national parties in India. There were 7 recognized national parties in the country in 2018. We shall have a close look at the national parties. All India Trinamool Congress. It was launched on 1st January 1998 under the leadership of Mamata Banerjee. All India Trinamool Congress is recognized as a national party in 2016. The party's symbol is flowers and grass. This party is committed to secularism and federalism. It has been in power in West Bengal since 2011 and has a presence in Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur and Tripura. In the general elections held in 2014, it got 3.84% votes and won 34 seats, making it the 4th largest party in the Lok Sabha. Bahujan Samaj Party or BSP. It was formed in 1984 under the leadership of Kanshi Rao. This party seeks to represent and secure power for the Bahujan Samaj, which includes the Dalits, Adivasis, OBCs and religious minorities. It draws inspiration from the ideas and teachings of Sahu Maharaj, Mahatma Phule, Periyar Ramaswamy Naicker and Baba Saheb Ambedkar. It stands for the cause of securing the interest and welfare of the Dalits and oppressed people. BSP has its main base in the state of Uttar Pradesh and substantial presence in neighboring states like Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand, Delhi and Punjab. It was formed government in UP several times by taking the support of different parties at different times. Bharatiya Janata Party or BJP. Bharatiya Janata Party was founded by Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. This party wants to build a strong and modern India by drawing inspiration from India's ancient culture and values and Deen Dayal Upadhyaya's ideas of integral humanism and Antyodaya. Cultural nationalism or Hindutva is an important element in its conception of Indian nationhood and politics. It wants full territorial and political integration of Jammu and Kashmir with India, a uniform civil code for all people living in the country irrespective of religion, and ban on religious conversions. Its support base increased substantially in the 1990s. Earlier, BJP was limited to north and west and to urban areas, but the party expanded its support in the south, east, the northeast and to rural areas. It emerged as the largest party in the 2019 Lok Sabha elections. Communist Party of India or CPI. CPI was formed in 1925. It believes in Marxism, Leninism, secularism and democracy. CPI opposed to the forces of secessionism and communalism. It accepts parliamentary democracy as a means of promoting the interest of the working class, farmers, and the poor. CPI has significant presence in the states of Kerala, West Bengal, Punjab, Andhra Pradesh, and Tamil Nadu. It secured less than 1% votes and one seat in the 2014 Lok Sabha elections. Communist Party of India, Marxist or CPIM, it was founded in 1964, believes in Marxism and Leninism, supports socialism, secularism and democracy, and opposes imperialism and communalism. CPIM accepts democratic elections as a useful and helpful means for securing the objective of socio-economic justice in India. This party enjoys strong support in West Bengal, Kerala, and Tripura. The party was in power in West Bengal without a break for 34 years. In the 2014 Lok Sabha elections, it won about 3% of votes and 9 seats. Indian National Congress or INC. It is popularly known as the Congress Party. Indian National Congress is one of the oldest parties of the world. It was founded in 1885 and has experienced many splits. It played a dominant role in Indian politics at the national and state level for several decades after India's independence. Under the leadership of Jawaharlal Nehru, the party sought to build a modern secular democratic republic in India. It was the ruling party at the center till 1977 and then from 1980 to 89. After 1989, its support declined, but it continues to be present throughout the country. The main idea of Indian National Congress is to promote secularism and welfare of weaker sections and minorities. It supports new economic reforms but with a human face. It leads the United Progressive Alliance. Nationalist Congress Party or NCP. NCP was formed in 1999 following a split in the Congress Party. This party supports democracy, Gandhian secularism, equity, social justice and federalism. It is a major party in Maharashtra and has a significant presence in Meghalaya, Manipur and Assam. NCP is a coalition partner in the state of Maharashtra in alliance with the Congress. Since 2004, it is a member of the United Progressive Alliance. State parties. The Election Commission has classified some of the major parties of the country as state parties or regional parties. The Election Commission has classified some of the major parties of the country as state parties or regional parties. Biju Janata Dal, Sikkim Democratic Front, Mizo National Front, Telangana Rashtra Samiti are some of these parties. Parties like the Samajwadi Party, Samada Party and Rashtriya Janata Dal have national level political organization with units in several states. Over the last 3 decades, the number and strength of these parties has expanded. Since 1996, nearly every one of the state parties has got an opportunity to be a part of one or the other national level coalition government. Challenges to political parties. We have seen how crucial political parties are for the working of democracy. Since parties are the most visible face of democracy, it is natural that people blame parties for whatever is wrong with the working of democracy. All over the world, people express strong dissatisfaction with the failure of political parties to perform their functions well. Political parties need to face and to overcome these challenges in order to remain effective instruments of democracy. Popular dissatisfaction and criticism have focused on 4 problem areas in the working of political parties. The first challenge is lack of internal democracy within parties. It means parties do not keep membership registers, do not hold organizational meetings, and do not conduct internal elections regularly. Ordinary members of the party do not get sufficient information on what happens inside the party. The leaders assume greater power to make decisions in the name of the party. Those who disagree with the leadership find it difficult to continue in the party. More than loyalty to party principles and policies, personal loyalty to the leader becomes more important. The second challenge is dynastic succession. Most political parties do not practice open and transparent procedures for their functioning. So there are very few ways for an ordinary worker to rise to the top in a party. In many parties, the top positions are always controlled by members of one family. This is unfair to other members of that party and bad for democracy because people who do not have adequate experience or popular support come to occupy positions of power. The second challenge is dynastic succession. Most political parties do not practice open and transparent procedures for their functioning. So there are very few ways for an ordinary worker to rise to the top in a party. In many parties, the top positions are always controlled by members of one family. This is unfair to other members of that party and bad for democracy because people who do not have adequate experience or popular support come to occupy positions of power. The third challenge is about the growing role of money and muscle power in parties, especially during elections. Since parties are focused only on winning elections, they tend to use shortcuts to win elections. In some cases, parties support criminals who can win elections. Democrats all over the world are worried about the increasing role of rich people and big companies in democratic politics. Since focus of the parties is on winning elections, they use shortcuts to win the elections. They nominate candidates who have or can raise lot of money. In some cases, they support criminals who can win elections. Thus, the role of rich people and big companies in the democratic process has been a cause of worry. Rich people and companies who give funds to the parties tend to have influence on the policies and decisions of the party. People do not find parties to be a meaningful choice for their votes. In recent years, there has been a decline in the ideological differences among parties in most parts of the world. Sometimes, people cannot even elect very different leaders either because the same set of leaders keep shifting from one party to another. How can parties be reformed? In a democracy, the final decision is made by leaders who represent political parties. People can replace them, but only by another set of party leaders. If all of them do not wish to reform, how can anyone force them to change? Let us have a look at some of the recent efforts and suggestions to reform political parties and its leaders in India. The Constitution has been amended to prevent elected MLAs and MPs from changing parties. Now, if any elected MLA or MP changes his party, he or she will lose his seat in the Legislative Assembly or Parliament. This was done because many elected representatives were indulging in defection in order to become ministers or for cash rewards. The Supreme Court has passed an order to reduce the influence of money and criminals. Now it has become mandatory for every candidate who contests election to file an affidavit giving details of his assets and criminal cases pending against him. This has helped in making this information available to the public. The Election Commission has passed an order making it necessary for political parties to hold their organizational elections and file their income tax returns. The parties have started doing so, but sometimes it is mere formality. Besides these, many suggestions are made to reform political parties. These suggestions have not yet been accepted by political parties. A law should be made to regulate the internal affairs of political parties. It should be made mandatory for political parties to give a minimum number of tickets, about 1/3 of seats, to women candidates. Similarly, there should be a quota for women in the decision-making bodies of the party. There should be state funding of elections. The government should give parties money to support their election expenses. There are two other ways in which political parties can be reformed. People can put pressure on political parties. This can be done through petitions, publicity, and agitations. Political parties can improve if people who want change can join political parties. It is difficult to reform politics if ordinary citizens do not take part in it and simply criticize it from the outside.